What is up? It's your boy the Canologist. We're back with code projects and AFK OSRS training. I'm going to be doing a recap of what we did last. So we had our script that pretty much ran the auto clicker and it ran the GUI at the same time. Right now I separated the inputs because I want this to tie together with the start button and whatever I place in the input box here. So if I share my screen real quick, I want to show you guys what exactly I'm talking about when I say inputs. So basically, I want these text boxes to act as the input for start stop. So they should both access the same memory slot for starting and stopping the script. And if it detects that, then it should start the auto clicker and stop accordingly. It should trigger the run function. Yeah, so currently we're at this part. Connect to existing code for auto clicker and then dynamic input from user. So dynamic is from the text box and connect to existing code is we're currently using predefined triggers here in the code. So we're using like S for start, T for stop, and we have the closed GUI. So currently I want to kind of take whatever I've gotten there and tie them together. So I was looking into the documentation, and the next thing to do is, one second, let me close this. Look at entries. Currently you can put set placeholder, but I wonder if you could take dynamic input for this stuff. I'm not sure. Let's try. Oh wait, I could use keyboard keys technically as my dynamic input, which also makes sense because I can use a keyboard event to detect whether an item was filled. And I could add controls on that as well. So right now this is going keyboard keys and it's looking for if key string equals this. So I can go keyboard keys, new entry. I don't know if that would be a callback and then scope it to this. Keyboard keys, new entry. The only thing is, how would I would have to pass in values for the input and start and stop. And then I would also have to pass the address of running into here as well. So since this is part of the main Go routine, I would have to pass running in here. Because if running is equal to true and I've already hit start, I don't want it to do anything. So there's that. And we could experiment with that as we go too. One sec. I'm just thinking out loud right now. So we have a bunch of these edge cases here. Well, these are the conditions for start stop for the interval. So I could pass in running. I'm doing it here. I could also do it here. And then this would be pointer to bool. That should eliminate the error there. The only thing is, how do I get this value back? I would have to also pass in pointers. Because right now it's going function keys key. Key string equals S. And then key string equals T. I could just go S and then T. So I could go S and then T. I'm thinking if I just go empty strings and place those in here, and then I go S, T. Because right now I have these, and then I just want to start stop based on this. Right now these control running equals true. And I want the button press to be equivalent to hitting that key as well. This is strange. I have to really think this through. It's kind of like stateful, but it's not at the same time. It's like mimicking. This is the concept of state under the hood. It's like understanding how your pointers work. So I could even feed technically the address of S and the address of T. And this would be pointer to string. Then I could save that, because now I'm taking dynamic strings. And then I could change this to fmt println. I could go S, and then this could be %v. And this would also follow suit with % value, and then I could go T. So technically that would be it. That would do what I wanted to do technically. If we're going by the logic of how we're doing this, we're going to pass in pointers and dynamically assign these, and then just have the items look at the same memory slot that controls start and stop. And this triggers the keyboard listen. So technically the running should trigger true, because I'm also passing running into here. So this would be func. This would also be func, and then this would be currently running equals true. And since we're looking at the same address for running, if the value of running is true, so right now I have the address here and the address here. So I could pass in running equals true and false for start and stop. The value of this address is true, and then the pointer to running equals false. Oh yeah, I don't need semicolons. Then the last part would be new entries. So the time interval in seconds. And then this would be interval. I'll put interval equals 3. Then I can pass in address to the interval. Then I can go interval pointer to integer, And then I can go pointer to interval. Interval, interval. Interval and then interv. Oh, this will be time duration. Time dot duration. So this will just be var interval. Time dot duration, pass an interval here, and this would be pointer to time dot duration. And then that would be whatever I feed into here. So this value, I can make that 3, and then I can make this dereference pointer to that time. That should work. Okay, so now the error is gone for there. I'm now just like making all these points kind of cohesive, because I can't just, it has to take input from my GUI somehow. Let's see. The next part is I need to somehow tie in start and stop with the pointer. And I need to tie that in so it takes in text input in a way that's like not, well, technically I do that here. Keystring S, keystring T, and then this is where I define this. New entry. Because in the docs, it doesn't show you, there's no callback here for entry. So if I go to entry, it's just unchanged. Yeah, this is the tricky part. I don't know how to incorporate for the new entry. If there was a callback function, that would be easier. There's new button has a callback widget. New entry should also have a callback. I really gotta think about this. How else could I do this? Auto clicker, which is the actual place where the GUI occurs, takes in all the values. of these pointers, this main go routine is actually not a main. So this isn't part of the main. These two are sub go routines. Technically, we could put this in another function, and this is in its own function, auto clicker. I'm wondering how I could do new entry. If I could do, let's try Golang callback function, new entry, assign the callback, entry unchanged. Ah, there it is, entry unchanged. To handle changes to the text within this entry, you can utilize its onChanged function. So then I could do an onChanged here. Technically this is onChanged. And this is where I could run my callback. So I define the actual input, and then if there's a change here, the function will now, I want it to limit how many characters I can put in. And then it would be funct text string. Okay, func text string. Then this would be, if I go to Google, this says func text string. So onChanged equals function. And then I want to go if len text is greater than 1, then return. and then this will be start stop. And this would dynamically assign whatever those values are to the string. So new entry label start. So if len text if the length of text equals 1, if it equals 1, then I want to make this start value. I could try that. That's my theory. S value of S equals text. Return. Because I don't want it to do anything after that, I believe. And then it would be the same thing for this. It would be the same thing for stop. And if that's the case, then we're pretty much good to go. So this will be stop. AC input on thing, and then func text string. Length equals 1, T for terminate equals text, and then return. Let's try it. Let's try and break it a bit. And then we'll put it into chat GPT to see if we made any mistakes. Okay. E. This shouldn't allow me to put more than one letter. Let's go less than or equals to 1. So let's close this. This terminates the script, clear. If it's less than or equal to 1, and you can never have less than 0 characters. Less than or equal to 1, text equals T. Or I could go if len equals 1, text equals T. Else if actually, I could leave the pseudocode in here for now, because I want to see what ChatGPT would say, what that would return. This is really close, I believe. This should be really close. If it's equal to 0, it should do nothing. If it's equal to 1, then it should return it as S. That's my start trigger. And this S value will populate this, because this address is what gets populated. Unless this feeds the GUI. No, but the GUI should technically mimic whatever this is for start and stop. So let's consult our friend AI. Okay, let's check this. Okay, so currently I have an auto clicker. With predefined keys. I used to, now so that it can take now I swapped it so that it takes a predefined so it takes an input from the text box in the GUI, no more than one character, and that should I also have the start and stop buttons that by accessing the same memory address as the keys that are for start stop. I see why your software might not behave as expected. Your keyboard list and go routine may never match the GUI's inputs because of how key string and formats output look and how you're updating the variables. Here's the main set of issues: concurrency, erase condition, S&T. You're reading and writing S&T from multiple go routines. Yes, without any synchronization, this might cause mismatches. So we could use a mutex. Okay, so use sync atomic value mutex. to safely store and retrieve your trigger. Key comparison mismatch. Oh, and then it's just going to make it lowercase. That makes sense too. It's not perfect, but it's doing what I need it to do. Interval value not hooked up. Oh, and it adds an error check, so unchanged. Interval input unchanged. Text string. Oh, it's using a toy. Time duration V. So it's telling me to use a mutex here. That makes sense, because if I do a what would the mutex be on? Raise condition on S and T. Don't give me any code, steer me towards the solution. Give guidance by asking the questions. Starting with the first item. First condition and the mutex. Get me to be able to solve this on my own. Okay, so I'm trying to get the chat to steer me in the direction of how to solve this. So item 1, let's start with the race condition. Okay, right now S and T are being written by your GUI and read by your keyboard listener at the same time. How do you think Go behaves when two Go routines try to read and write to the same variable without any locking? Once you answer that, we can explore what options Go gives us to coordinate access so that the keyboard listener always sees the correct, most recent key from the GUI. So technically I would want to, if they're reading and writing at the same time, it's just going to see values no matter what. So technically the empty box could still be a value. And I want to prevent a race condition. So I could use a mutex that locks that variable. So mutual exclusions is what we want. So how do you think Go behaves when two Go routines try to read and write the same value without any locking or synchronization? There may be a mismatch. What is read and what is written? For S, T variables. In case of writes, we would want to use a mutex or mutual exclusion because we don't want one routine that is incorrect. Or I could use an R lock. Or possibly use, so let's look at R lock in Golang. This is a read-only lock. So you can have as many reads, but only one write. Our synchronization mechanisms for the package. R lock, multiple Go routines can read at a time, but not write at a time. Only one Go routine can read and write at a time. If we do one at a time, technically that would be a synchronization as well. I'm just thinking, like, we don't want it to, like, we don't want the Go routine to, what's it called, read the wrong value as well. I don't know if I could use an R lock. Multiple Go routines can read, but I don't have multiple Go routines reading. I have one writing and one reading, so it'd just be a lock. This would be a mutual exclusion. And it would be a lock over here. I could put lock.lock, sync RW mutex, or sync mutex. Where's ChatGPT? And let me guess, what did they put? Sync mutex, yes. Exactly, we've got the right picture. Okay, so I guess that means we're doing something not completely bad. Also, I'm freezing because I lowered the fucking temperature in the unit because I was doing cleaning, and yeah, it's better when it's cold. Also for the laptop. Keeps the laptop nice and cold. RW mutex would let you lock before either reading or writing so that no two Go routines are doing it at the same time. Prevents partial updates or stale reads. We don't want a stale read because if we change the value of what's in that text box, it's going to read the wrong start key. So if we look at the code here, this keyboard listener is performing the read, and then this is performing the write in the main. So this auto clicker GUI, from the GUI is where we set the value. This is performing a write, and whenever we have a write to a key, we want to lock that functionality. So technically I could go mutex library Golang, sync mutex, this is the package. And then I can lock, unlock. So what I gotta do is package import is sync internal sync. What does ChatGPT use? Sync mutex, sync atomic value. Fix use atomic sync mutex. I think I could use the basic sync mutex, honestly. If I go to Golang, and this will add synchronization. import isync, internal sync. I think internal sync is the right one. Sync mutex, sync atomic value. And then just add locks to the code to prevent a race condition. That's the best way to block from reading while you're doing a write, so you don't get a stale read. We don't want stale reads. This is the tricky part with pointers. You need some way to lock what you're doing. So let's look at the mutex. Sync package, sync mutex, mutual exclusion. I just need to know how to import it and then how to use it. C lock, lock. So this is what I would do. Lock, unlock. Defer, WG. I'm trying to find in the docs where the logic to import a mutex is. This is kind of what I'm trying to do. C lock, C unlock. Function C condition wait. Go example of mutexes. So sync, and then mu sync mutex container. C container. Container holds the map of counters. Since we add a mutex, note the mutexes must not be copied. So the struct is passed around. It should not be done. It should be done by pointer. Okay. So I want to somehow add a mutex here. I would get the sync package. I want to see what better examples there are. Mutex in Golang with examples. Okay, FMT sync. Okay, this is good. Where's the mutex defined? This is WG worker. This is the function we'll run in every Go routine. Oh, and then it's var w sync wait group. Mutex lock, mutex unlock. If I could just do this, I'd be done. But like, the syntax is really, really weird with Golang. Oh, var m sync mutex, and then if I want to pass it, what are they doing? Okay. Sync mutex, this will synchronize access to state. This is perfect. This is kind of exactly what I need. So I go FMT sync. So let's add sync. And then the main go routine, I can pass in the mutex to whatever's doing a change in value. So that way the read is always going to be fine. So you're going to add mu, mu, mu. Mu lock, mu unlock. I want to prevent the stale read. So this looks like one of the ways I can do this. Let's see if I'm doing it correctly. It's my first time doing all this live and at all. I've never actually done it in Golang before. So I'm now adding my lock to the actual write. And then the reads happen here. So as long as the writes are being done correctly, the reads don't really, it's never going to get a stale read. At least that's what I'm aiming for. Two important things before this actually protects you from race conditions. You're only looking for writes, not reads. And you're still reading without locking. You have a small bug, this should be mu unlock. Oh, okay. Mu unlock. And then my reads, what am I doing for the reads? Where am I performing the reads though? The reads are getting performed here. So that would be for the writes. For the reads, this also affects running, so I would have to mutually exclude this. Then I want to see what would happen if I would also have to do, so mutual exclusions on anywhere where there's a state change. So this running, these pointer dereferenced items, where I take an input from on change. And then I would also have to do a mutex on this, I believe. So this would be when I'm doing a read, mu lock, because now there's multiple go routines accessing the same thing, and then a mu unlock, or yeah. So that mutex is here. Well, this read technically should be part of here. And then this should do the same thing here. So these basically act as blockers. So whoever is changing it first makes the change, then the others have access to it. Added the mutex to both read and writes. Lock before reading S and T. Lock before reading S and T. Unlock. Compare key string against those variables. I'm not sure. It's asking me why it's better to keep them or copy them to a local variable. Why do you think it's better to copy S and T into local variables inside lock? I'm not completely sure. I'm actually not. Like, do I mutex it here? Would it be better to mutex the whole thing? It's better not to hold the lock for the entire block. For the shortest time possible. Okay, that makes sense. For the read of S&T lock, if we follow that lock, okay, so what does this do? I put the value there. This is where I'm kind of stuck as to why we and how we would do the read mutex, since we call S read in a condition. Keyboard listener go routine starts running, it locks. Keyboard listener what I'm trying to understand is because currently I added the mutex lock to this portion here and it's saying that this isn't correct. So this is correct because when I'm doing the write, I just want to lock it for these certain points. When I'm doing the read, it's saying I'm doing it incorrectly, but I don't know why. Like this is the part that I'm confused with. It's saying to do it beforehand. So yeah, I have to figure that part out. And that's what it's saying here. And I'm trying to get ChatGPT to steer me towards understanding this rather than just giving me the code answer, because like that wouldn't do me any good. I need to kind of understand why this isn't working the way I want it to work. How do I lock before reading? I am only doing the reading in the conditional. See, this is the part that's like kind of confusing, because this takes the value from the right here. So right now I've put S and T. So I put S here as a placeholder. The address, I'm passing the address to this function where I do the writes. So this is AutoClicker GUI, where I actually do the key presses in the text box. If I do the key press in the text box, then this updated value should then update this value because it has the same memory address. So it's doing a write to this memory slot. The thing is, I'm doing the read here. Key string equals this. Oh, using those local copies in your if statement. I see. I see. Because it's doing a read as we're Oh, so when I'm doing the read, it's going to be fresh. Okay, that makes sense. Now I get it. Saying that the value can already be changed. So I do a read lock. Get the variables first, then change states. In the conditional, but since the GUI can change them at any time, that read is racy. By doing a lock copy unlock, you grab a snapshot of those keys. Okay, so basically what that's saying is you only need to lock the shared variables. The running address isn't shared. Well, it is. Yes, okay, so the mutex I'm running is correct. Okay, so then let me do this. I have the right idea. So what I'll do is this. I have to lock before these reads. I need a snapshot of these reads because these can change as I'm changing these values. I'm going to say copy S. Because I want to pull these values before they get changed. Well, technically, do I even need the keyboard listen anymore? If copy S equals S. I know, but it should, because it's listening for the button press, or it's listening for start. So there has to be a keyboard listen feature. So that's correct. This is like my stress fucking pose. I just like, you see me doing this. I'm like compressing my brain. I don't know. I think I picked this up from Pokemon. I used to watch Alakazam like press his head and get psychic powers. I don't know. Maybe this is correct. Let's try it now. Copying S and T while holding lock is the right pattern. There's still a couple of points. Running reads in auto clicker without any lock. This is still a race. Running reads in auto clicker. Where does it read in auto clicker? It reads an auto clicker. Okay, so I just put a mutex there too. I just have to lock every little pointer to make sure there's I get that current state. This is like technically state for each thing. We just call it pointers in these languages. So we got S, T, we got auto clicker moo. We'll pass moo in. And then we have to pass in pointer to sync mutex here in auto clicker to protect for this shared variable. There's so much going on. Running bool, time interval, time duration. That's crazy. ChatGPT didn't even write all this code and it steered me to think about mutexes. Well, this does prevent the race condition. If you have multiple routines accessing the same memory slots, you have to make sure that only one of them can access them at the time, so that way you only get the current state. So that'll be new pointer to sync mutex. And then this has to be used. So I gotta go copy of mu lock, mu unlock, that should be this. Then I gotta put in a value. And I'm going to make a copy of running. So running so I access only the current variable for running, and then based on that I go, because you can't mutex within this if condition, so you have to mutex outside of it, so you have to make a copy within this function. And then that's how you kind of work around how do you get past the conditional. So there's mu lock, copy running, I believe this is correct now. This should be correct now for the mutex portion. Yes, this is now race free for S&T. Next thing to consider, not a race, but correctness. F&T print F still uses S&T directly. Oh, I have to use the copy instead. So this is the good thing about AI. It'll catch my mistakes. So right now, because I was using copy S&T, it's a snapshot, but this has a race condition on here, which I was originally made copy S to prevent, so I have to go copy S. So I had the right idea, it's just that I had to protect the memory slots that I was using. So that's where the mutual exclusions come in. Oh, my head. Okay, it's like 3 a.m. I need to sleep. But I do want to test this. Okay. Then I want to go start is going to be S. Okay, so this start is working. Stop. So stop's not working. Value of running is false. Value of running is false for stop. When I hit this button, running equals false. Robot go click true. Running equals false. I don't get why. I don't even think I need the keyboard listen anymore. Initially I was doing it here, but now it should only listen to this. What's the name of the branch again? Auto clicker dynamic input. We'll need to figure this out, because this isn't quite correct. It's kind of correct, because it's getting the running equals true. And the way I did this was I want to just access the pointers that do the same thing. So originally when I just press S or T, this will start and stop, and then that will trigger running for my auto clicker. So what I was also trying to do was when I hit start and stop, the buttons on the GUI, that should also trigger running true and false. So I had to pass in the same address for running that I passed into auto clicker into the GUI. So the GUI and the auto clicker both affect running. That's why I had to use mutual exclusions to make sure that only one of them can access the value at a time. Should be race free, which it is. They're now all protected. The only thing I need to do now is make sure that all of the stuff is working in tandem as it should with the GUI. This isn't okay. Next to consider buffer correctness, fnt_printf. After that, the mutex portion is solid. So dynamic keys always trigger reliably. Currently, the way I expect this to work, because right now I'm able to do this from terminal. But that's not what I actually want. What I want is it should dynamically accept the key into the GUI. And that should mimic the same effect as the terminal. So I don't know if I pull the keyboard event and then put that into the mutex. So like, for example, this whole thing is doing this for the terminal. Because right now it's running main. Auto clicker just tells it when to run and stop, so that's fine. The start and stop buttons in my GUI do that. The effect of running, because I passed in this running address the same way I passed it into auto clicker. So they both have access to the same things. If running equals true. And here in this, they actually just manipulate running, which is right here. So running's in the main go routine. This is in the subroutine. This is in the main routine. So if this is in the main routine, why don't I just pass it the value? I could just pass by value. I don't have to pass by reference, don't I? I could just go running. This is pointer to bool. I could just go running bool. And then this could be running. Because this isn't a separate go routine. This is a main go routine. But the mutex has to be on the shared variables. Let's try this now. I'm curious to see whether that'll mess with things. Because I don't want to, if the start stop button at least work, that's like a good place to end it for today. So let's go clear. Okay. Start. Stop. So this doesn't actually fix anything. Okay, so I have to terminate the script. We have to go back to memory addresses. Let's try running this again. See, this starts it. This doesn't stop it for some reason. My stop button isn't doing what I want it to do. I'm curious though. If I go run main.go, I can start it here. So if I go to my terminal, here it is. So if I run this will start it. Stop doesn't work, but I guarantee if I press T, unrelated key pressed. Copy T equals false. T, stop. So now this isn't taking the correct variable. Oh, because it's looking for the S and T from here. So if I go clear, go run main go, I need this to run. So if I put S and I put T here, S starts, T terminates the auto click. You see, that makes sense. Because now it's referencing these areas for the writes. Because now I'm writing to the memory slot. Right now it's currently blank. So when I hit S or T, it doesn't work. Unless I go S equals this. Well, technically S shouldn't do anything anymore. So if I go this, it should only go according to what is in here and here, which is what I expect to happen. See, this shouldn't do anything, unrelated. You see, this is good. This is good. Now, because technically I can delete this whole thing. This whole keyboard listen should be able to go now. I should only care about what is in my terminal block. So this. So now I can set this value to, let's say, Y. This will be my new start. This will be my new, let's say, D is end. Right now it's listening for Y and D. Right, if I hit Y, starts the auto clicker, D ends the auto clicker, terminates. And then if I go S again, or Y again, it should start the auto clicker again. And then D should terminate it. Yeah, see, so that's working. This is good. Now I need start and stop these buttons to do what I want them to do. So right now the buttons work. The start button works. The stop button doesn't work for some reason. It should only take values from the terminal to start and stop. Yeah, that's what it's doing right now. That's what it's doing right now. Okay, so it is taking values from start and stop terminal. And that was the expected behavior initially. I'm thinking, what's going on with the stop button? The only thing that's not working now is the stop button. Stop, widget, new button, mutex lock, running equals false. This works. Why doesn't this work? Running equals false for the terminate. So if that's true, if this works, this should technically work the same. That's the only thing I'm not I'm kind of confused about. Oh shit. Okay, so copy this. So except for the stop button in the GUI. When I hit start, it's working. When I hit stop, it's not. The stop button in the GUI isn't working, even though the keyboard triggers work. Auto clicker repeatedly runs the go routine under the mutex. Keyboard listener also locks running. GUI stop button does lock and write, but the problem is the GUI itself is running on the main thread. Okay. But that's what I tried earlier. Show and run blocks the main thread. Okay, fuck. Are you serious? Oh, so this blocks the main thread. Okay. GUI. So what else is, why does the start one work then? So your GUI callbacks like the button, but the keyboard listener might interfere, expecting the stop button to immediately affect auto clicking. In practice, mutex is correct, but one subtle point: running equals false. The auto clicker will only see the loop at its next iteration. Since your auto clicker sleeps for seconds, the stop will be delayed. Oh, okay. It should work, it's just delayed. Okay, so then in that case it's already working. Okay, so then I should just put a logger. Actually, no, I don't need to put a logger. Actually, I'll put one here for stop button pressed. FMT println. So I'll go FMT println. Stop button pressed. Hitting stop. Okay, let's put this. terminates the auto click. So that should work. And this should now accept dynamic input. So that actually is exactly what I need. So all I had to do is just put a mutex on. So I had the right idea, which was share the pointer addresses across the thing. But what I needed ChatGPT for was to explain how to fit the mutex in when I'm doing reads. So if you look over here, why I have copy, technically this is a read. So I was like, okay, how the fuck do you like block a read in the if statement? And the thing is, you don't. So basically what you do is you create a copy of this, you take a snapshot of what S would have been, you put it in this copy, and then you're basically doing the read on S in this mutex block. Then you just pass it to your logic block to do the rest. So you're basically kind of doing the same thing you would have done, but you're just making sure that you're accessing your read at the current state while no one else can access it, and no one else can write to it while you're doing a read, right? Because then if you put S here and someone does a write, right, and changes the value, then this won't really apply anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to kind of go with the rules of concurrency. This is a very in React, they kind of make it very easy. They just have a state value, use state, and then basically just pass that state around. Here we're actually making state. This is state, if you think about it. This little block is a piece of state. This is a snapshot of what that value is that's going to be passed to here. So let's try it again. And then if this is good, then this will be a good place to end off for now. And then we'll try and clean it up a bit tomorrow, and that should be the end of the project. But yeah, let's play around with it one more time, and then yeah, the next live tomorrow or the day after will be just a cleanup of the project, and then we'll just do a quick summary of everything we've done, and then yeah, let me know. I'll probably be doing some more projects like this in the future. This is a really good first project. This is my first. I literally did intro to Golang like last week, and this is my first project with Golang, so I've really liked how powerful it is with the mutexes, with multi-threading. Right now we have 3 Go routines running in this one little simple project. So you learn multi-threading in this project. You learn state management / pointers, memory addresses. You learn how to do concurrency, mutual exclusion, so preventing race conditions, which we're actually doing here. This is actually pretty involved for a first project. That's why I'm actually surprised I even made it this far. But yeah, ChatGPT comes in handy for small things like this. Like I wouldn't get it to write the code for you, because like then you won't really get anything out of this. Like I would say actually try to do what you're set out to do, and then just use ChatGPT as a guide to fill in the gaps of knowledge, like I did. So like for example, this portion here, I never would have figured that out, because like it just doesn't make sense. I'm not used to the syntax of Golang yet, and it's not like React where you can just pass shit in. Here you actually have to do it manually and then pass in the copied value, which is this. So let's run it one more time. It's clear. Let's run that. This should be good. Okay. So right now nothing should work. So if I write S unrelated key, and this tells you unrelated key pressed. Only when I set these values in my terminal, in my GUI, that's when I should care. T unrelated space. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to my GUI and I'll go ST, and my interval, let's put as 3 seconds. Start. So every 3 seconds, and then stop button hit, terminates the auto click. So now it's waiting. start, stop. Okay, perfect. Then let's go S, starts the autoclick, T, C. Now it takes in my dynamic value because it's now recognizing it. If I hit another value like R, unrelated key pressed. So now this is working exactly the way I intended it to work. The only thing I would do now is just add a printf here. Starts the autoclick. So I'll copy this just so we know exactly what we've done at every stage of the code. Hitting start. Starts the autoclick. And then hitting stop stops the autoclick. And now we have a fully interactive autoclicker. So let's close this GUI. That'll terminate the script. And then I guess in the next lives we'll also see how to put it together as a final product. Because right now we're doing go run, which just does a temporary build. I want to make it an executable file so I can actually just run this on my computer or pass it on. Okay, so now it's listening. So let's go S, T. Okay, that's good. Then we'll go S, T, 3 seconds, start. Sweet. Stop, start. Stop, nice. Okay, so all that shit's working now. One sec. Got a bit of energy left. Let's just make sure everything's clean. S. Okay, so the actual key works. T. And stop. T. T terminates the autoclick. Yeah, so this pretty much does exactly what I needed to do. So stop, and let's kill the script by closing it. Last thing I'll do is I want to add a dynamic input for the interval here. So I want to change this to print. It should be printf, I think. Printf, yeah, it is fmt printf. Printf, and then what I want to do is go %v, and then pass in interval. Because then I go Control S, save. But then I want to, let's say, I just want to try one more time with 10 seconds. Go run main go. One more time for the books. S, T, let's go 10. Start. Oh, it's 3 nanoseconds for some reason. Interval time duration, 3 ns. Oh, because interval is 3 still. And stop will terminate it. Okay, so that is good. And this is naturally in nanoseconds, so time duration. Interval times second. And it's saying 3 because I'm passing in this 3. Oh, I don't have the interval. So interval, st, mu. I'm going to go interval zero. Oh my gosh, I'm catching like all my errors like it's super late at night. With the things I do. And we'll confirm it after. This in mu. This would be st. This would be time duration. And then value of this. It's crazy how my interval didn't work because I realized I was like, yo, this doesn't have anything. New entry on changed, new entry on changed. And this new entry should be interval inputs. Oh my god, I'm so tired. On changed. And then this should take in text string. Technically, this should be a string too. Because it's taking it from this box and then interval t equals text. And I could go typecast it to time duration. Like that makes sense. I could typecast that. Okay, let's try that. Just take the same logic. We'll do the cleanup tomorrow. Let's go value of interval equals text, and then this will have to be like time duration. Or time duration casted onto this. I'm not sure about the syntax for this. Like, how would I typecast it to time duration? That's where ChatGPT is going to come in. Okay, so my interval needs to be in seconds, and I'm trying to typecast it. Is this correct? It should work similar to the other dynamic inputs from the GUI. All right, let's figure this shit out. Okay, not quite. Time.text because expects an integer number of nanoseconds. Okay, so right now you're trying to directly cast string, which will panic or give nonsense. Okay, let's see. STR conversion, ATOI. Is that a new package? strconv seconds error. strconv ATOI. What is ATOI? I don't know what the fuck that is. The fuck is that? What does that even stand for? A toy. Oh, ASCII to integer. ASCII to integer. I'm playing. Okay. But how does that work with time duration? Because time duration is its own type. Like, I'm passing time duration as a type. So how does this work? This is how you effectively squeeze out AI. This is type A. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Time duration type alias for int64. Okay. And that's why everything's in nano. Time sleep, 3 seconds. So these are the key points I want to figure out then. 1, what would the default value be? Zero. Okay. Yeah, because that means we didn't add anything. Which can overwhelm the system. A sensible will be 3 seconds. Ah, there we go. Now it makes sense. This makes sense to me. I was always wondering, how do you get the time second if it's defaulted to nanoseconds, but you just multiply it 3 times time second? and you're forcing the type. So this makes sense to me, because otherwise it's gonna run in nanoseconds. So if I don't do a default time of 3 seconds, it's gonna go boom, 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 and it's gonna ping the system like thousands of times. We don't want that, obviously. Oh, because text is a string and time duration expects an integer number of nanoseconds. Instead, you need to convert the string to an integer. Okay, so we take the string value we get from onChange, function text string, and then convert it. Convert this value to, what do we convert this to? Okay, so this is an error check. This is the mutual exclusion times second. So all this logic stays the same. It's pretty much exactly the same, except we have to do a time conversion of the string seconds. So convert the seconds from, convert the string. Oh, to integer. To an integer, and then you can typecast it to time duration second times time second. Okay, that makes sense to me. Ignore invalid input. Yeah, in that case, it keeps the default. So let's just take this and then use it. There we go. My 3 lines from ChatGPT. But these 3 lines change everything. So this should be good now. Let's try it again. Clear. Go. Run main. Shit, I gotta go to bed. Go run main go. ST5 start every 5 seconds. Stop. Start. This should happen every 5 seconds. There should be a start. Stop. And then let's go S. T. Nice. Okay, so let's go here. Let me remove the seconds because I don't need this anymore. Because it already comes with the units. So let's go that. And last thing we're going to do is clear. Go run main. Go. ST 2 seconds. Start every 2 seconds. Simulate a mouse click event. Something's not quite correct here. Maybe it's because I have 2 returns. Do they take the return out of here? It's because I'm returning after this. You don't want to return here. I just want to update the value. That's why. So now let's kill the terminal. Try again. This should be fixed now. This should be fixed. Clear, go, run, main, go. ST2. Boom. We gotta troubleshoot that, but we'll figure out the rest tomorrow. This is a good place to end it. Right now, I will commit this, adding concurrency and dynamic inputs, and then we'll do cleanup tomorrow. So git dot updates dynamic inputs and prevent race conditions with mutex. And then we'll run that. So 78 git push origin. Wait, let me go branch. Oh, did I spell it wrong? Yeah, I did. Sorry, guys. I know it's late today. But we gotta get shit done. If I say I gotta get it done, I'm getting it done. Alright, so we pretty much finished the bulk of this. The rest is gonna be cleanup and then actually turning it into a finished build. So yeah, if you like this, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment below. Knologist out.